All right, I'm really sorry for the inconvenience, guys, but the Wi-Fi is. We will continue the stuff, right? I don't want to give you all incomplete information as it's very dangerous, right? So let us just wrap up this real quick. So we right. So the third challenge is healthcare issues, including malnutrition and limited access to medical facilities. So these are the challenges that travel people faces, right? And second is exploitation by middlemen in trade and markets, because you cannot reach to the mainstream India. You require a middleman, mainly who is from the mainstream of India. So they act as a bridge to connect the any goods and services from travel to the mainstream of India. All right, so that is one challenge, that there is always a middleman present in the business and marketing or in the trade and markets. All right, that's there. And third is cultural erosion of the travel people due to the assimilation, right? Due to the you know because if there's majority, right, the majority will impose their laws, right? Their own laws. So with this, there's high chance of the eradication of the unique culture and the tradition that the tribal people have, right? So third challenge was cultural erosion, and lastly is insurgency and conflict in certain tribal regions. As we can see, most of the Naxalites areas falls in the tribal areas, right? So there's a lot of insurgency and Naxalism present, and there are at times multiple conflicts, as we can see in Manipur, right? So that's again a major problem or the challenges that the travel development faces. All right, that's there. And few of the case studies of the travel development are, where there's resistance against mining projects to protect the Niyamgiri Hills. The tribal people, they protest really great to save their hills, so that the mining projects would not vandalize their beautiful natural resources, right? That's one case study. And another case study is Northeast Tribal Councils. They have successfully self-governance and models under the sixth schedule of Indian Constitution. Now, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, which are the states that falls under the sixth schedule of India? Correct me if I'm wrong. Assam, Mizoram, Tripura, and let me know the fourth state in the comment box. One is Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, Mizoram. Correct me if I'm wrong. And third case study is Chhattisgarh tribal women, SHG, and it is very prevalent in contemporary times. SHG basically stands for self-help groups, right? Empowering the women and also their microfinance through handicrafts, right? It can be anything, poultry, right? Through loans, right? So that's there. Now, a few of the recommendation from my side is the education and skill development must be looked in the travels development programs, right? And second is substantial livelihood opportunities. And third is participatory governance, where the people of tribal areas get the chance to lead, and because they are the ones who know their issue very well, because they are in their shoes, right? And they know how marginalized and what are the problems or the challenges that they face in their areas, right? And third is healthcare infrastructures, like good hospitals, right? And so that the child do not suffer from any sort of malnutrition, right? Polio. And also there must be healthcare infrastructure. And last is development in order to preserve their very great culture, right? Because once the culture is eroded, then the tribes slowly gets eroded ultimately, right? So the culture, language, tradition must be preserved of the tribal areas. So in summation, tribal development in India is not just about economic progress, but also about the inclusive growth with their dignity and with flourishing identity which they have, very unique and out of this earth, right? We can see a lot of cultures which are very different and very appealing, right? So all this culture must be protected at any cost, right? So the government must take multiple measures in order to safeguard their beautiful culture, tradition, and language for that matter, right? Although I'm happy that a lot of language of tribal people have been recognized in the eighth schedule of the Indian Constitution, yet there are, I'm sure, multiple tribes, right, who speaks language we am and to be very honest, most of us, we have not even heard the language words or any sort of phrases that they use, but yet the multiple tribal people language so that their culture and identity do not get eroded with the time, right? That's there. While significant stable strides have been made through constitutional measures and amendments to safeguard the tribal people, such as welfare schemes, right? And yet the challenges remain, right? A holistic approach combining policy, participation, and preservation of their essential culture is necessary to ensure that tribal communities thrive in modern India without losing their cultural sense and their you know their unique identity which they possess, because India is really beautiful with the diversity, right? And it is what sets India's breed apart from any other state nation, right? So we must look onto the tribal areas development in order to make India great. Although India is already great, but we must work more on diversifying all the communities and working so that every class, every creed, or every person, irrespective of their place of birth, irrespective of their language, irrespective of their tradition, irrespective of their culture, gets equal opportunity to excel in the near future. And so for their tradition, right? So for their culture and also for their identity, the constitution must